Congressman Gonzales, good to see you again. House Republicans are opening this impeachment inquiry into President Biden. From everything that I've seen that you guys have gone through, there hasn't been any concrete evidence tying the president to any wrongdoing. Still, though, you support this. Tell me why.
Jason, thank you for having me on. And yes, I do support the impeachment inquiry to President Biden. And the main reason is not necessarily what everyone else is looking at. I hope the inquiry expands to the border. The way the president has handled the border has been dangerous to Americans. I've seen Americans being killed, certainly in Texas. We've been at the forefront of that. And then the other piece of it too is as a military veteran, as an Afghanistan veteran, the debacle that happened in Afghanistan that got Americans killed. So while others are looking at Hunter Biden and his dealings, I'm looking at it in the manner of how he's handled the border and how he's handled national security and expanding that inquiry.
Do you think the president, though, has committed high crimes or misdemeanors on the border?
I think this inquiry is going to take us there. I'll tell you what, I visited with the Tambunga family from Ozona that lost their mother and their 7-year-old daughter, and they'll tell you they're not happy with the Biden administration. So those are reasons why I'm supporting the inquiry, and I think the facts will lead us to an impeachment or not.
How long could this take?
I don't know. And I don't know, and I suspect it'll be a long, daunting process. My focus is on building out a national security package that can secure the border. That's where I spend the bulk of my time, the bulk of my energy, finding solutions, bipartisan solutions to problems. And I don't suspect this impeachment inquiry will be a bipartisan effort. So I don't know how long it'll take.
As far as, let me ask you this. You represent what, 823 miles of the border? Is that right, Congressman?
Right. Yeah, that's right.
When we look at that, the situation in Ozona and other situations here, Republicans have clearly been able to use the border against President Biden because he hasn't, the numbers have grown. It's just, it's fact from his own administration there. But what do you think he has not done that he should have physically done down there that might equate to some type of wrongdoing?
Yeah, I mean, a big part is what I'm seeing is in many cases the what is happening at the border is a policy win for Democrats, and they don't view it as a problem. But ask anyone that lives along the border, and their lives have been turned upside down from family members that have been killed, to people that have been injured, to trade and commerce that has been impacted, and the lack of the administration's taking the problem serious. Not to mention the number of fentanyl. I mean, let's expand it beyond Texas and across the country. So this is an area where the president clearly has failed to address in any manner. But I've been pushing very hard for a solution on this, a national security package that addresses some of these issues. Some of those things I was speaking with senators this week. I was speaking with the administration this week, and some of the things that I've been pushing for is raising the credible fear standard, also deportation flights. If you do not qualify for asylum, you get sent back to your country of origin, and also expedited removals outside of the border. We have to go to other places. People that are already in the country that do not qualify for asylum, they need to be sent back.
I mean, that sounds like roundups, though. Is that what you could characterize it as?
I'm talking about somebody that has had their due process, that has been adjudicated, do not qualify for asylum, and they were supposed to have already left. So what do you do with those? I'm not talking about the people that are here awaiting their adjudication, or I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that should not be in the country, legally should not be in the country. They've already had their adjudication. There has been no enforcement of that piece to it.
Let's stay on the border for a moment and talk about Ukraine funding as well. Republicans obviously want the Biden administration to make it more difficult for migrants to claim asylum. And then, if they do that, I believe my understanding is the GOP wants those individuals to remain in Mexico rather than be in the United States during that period. But looking at Ukraine, is the U.S. putting Ukraine in jeopardy by not immediately renewing funding that it needs?
I strongly support Ukraine's ability to defend itself from its aggressor, Russia, who invaded them illegally. And I think the United States needs to stand firm with our allies, whether that be Israel, whether that be Ukraine or Taiwan or anywhere else. I also believe we shouldn't just be sending a blank check. We have to make sure that the funds and more importantly the resources are going to achieving a mission. At the same time, we have our own security issues here in the United States, where you have people on the terrorist watch list that are coming over. I do believe we can do two things at once. It doesn't have to be either or. I have been working very closely with Senate negotiators, both on the Democratic side and the Republican side, as well as the White House, to try to build out a national security package that tackles that. But I'll be very honest with you, Jason. You've got Republicans on one side that view this as a very lucrative politically, and you got Democrats on the other side that view this very lucrative policy wise. And so it's difficult to find that ground that puts our country above everything else and help our allies as well.
Do you expect funding to get renewed before Christmas?
I do not. No, you're talking about Congress that will do nothing unless they're put to the cliff. And that cliff is now January the 19th, right? So Congress will punt on first down if you allow them to, and you should absolutely expect us to punt on first down.
So where does that leave Ukraine, though, in its fight against Russia going into a third year here?
Yeah, I think you've seen, the White House universally decide to give $200 million in aid there. I'm hearing that it's essentially February is about the time that's really going to come to a decision on are we going to continue to help out or not. I firmly believe we need to stand with our allies and we need to give them every tool that they need to be successful. I think you can do that without writing a blank check and feeling good about yourself. And you can also do that by protecting our own borders. So there is a deal to be had here, a solution, if you will, to this problem set. We just need to bring adults to the table that ultimately want to see this passed and help our country.
Congressman, you have a bipartisan bill called the Find and Protect Foster Youth Act. It's supposed to figure out, my understanding is, why children go missing from foster care. How serious of a problem is this?
Jason, there's so many serious problems in our country, and we get pulled in all these different directions. And we rarely talk about some of the issues that are important to Americans. And part of that is our family. And foster care is one of the areas that we all know is broken. We all know has some issues. I'm excited about this bill that's about to be signed into law that identifies foster care children that run away. What happens to them while they're gone? And then when they get back, why did they run away? What happened when they were gone? And what can we do to advocate on their behalf to make sure that doesn't happen again? It's these type of things I think Congress also needs to be focused on. It's important to talk about the big ticketed items, but it's also important to us to fix foster care. I'm really excited about this bill. It's the first of many things we're going to do with the foster care system. My wife, Angel, is a foster child, so it's very personal to our family, and I'm sure it is to many of your viewers as well.
Congressman, last thing, the National Defense Authorization Act just passed as well. What does that mean to Texas?
I'm so excited about helping the NDAA get passed into law. There's a couple of things in there that are going to help us. One is I pushed hard to raise family separation allowance from $250 to $400. This hasn't happened in decades. That's going to put more money in the families, military families. The other one, there's a pay increase for Border Patrol agents. So right now, a Border Patrol agent that works 40 hours, his overtime, he doesn't get paid. He or she doesn't get paid overtime. They get comp time. So this fixes that. So they're going to be able to get paid overtime now. There's also money in there for Lackland Air Force Base, a brand new, beautiful chapel at Lackland Air Force Base. This is where every airman goes for basic training. There's a lot of wins in there for Texas. I look forward to continue to work on the NDA year after year.
Congressman, good to see you again. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Jason.